Interview.
Hey guys, Dan Carpini and welcome back to The Couch. I'm joined by Eric Barker from Volition. We're talking about Red Faction Armageddon, and you've made some pretty big changes in terms of where you've been and where you are now. Tell us a little bit about the evolution of going underground and why you've chosen it and how you've retooled the game itself to take into account the changes in combat.
Absolutely. The key is that in Red Faction Armageddon you had destruction. It was pretty awesome by itself. We've taken it to the next level. We wanted to make sure that the destruction technology was integrated into combat. So you've got great tools like the magnet gun, which allow you to fling things at your enemies and fling your enemies at things, ripping apart the world. It makes the world your weapon. So literally every piece of the world around you that you can throw and rip around is great. So we're changing the way you do combat. You can destroy, you can repair. There's a lot of great new tricks in there for all the players.
Now, there's some older weapons making another appearance and some new ones as well. Give us a little run through of the ones you've announced so far and how they'll work underground.
Well, underground, what's so phenomenal there is we're going to surround you with destruction. We're going to create these tight little great sandboxes where you can have so much fun, because these aliens are going to be leaping to the walls, leaping to the ceiling, so you're going to be bringing things down on them and hopefully not bringing them down on yourself. Create these tight little pockets of action that are going to let you use these great new weapons, like for instance the magnet gun, which is, first shot grabs onto something, the second shot is where you're going to send it. So this creates great new creative possibilities for your players. So that's fun. You're going to have your plasma beam, which allows you to literally cut buildings in half. So there's all kinds of different things that focus on destruction, allow you to use them against the enemies, but also the enemies are going to use them against you. So they're going to try to destroy your cover. You're going to be repairing it, rebuilding cover. So there's some great new dynamics, and now we're taking all this fantastic Volition technology and driving it, thrusting it into gameplay.
Now, the series has gone through a bit of a weird evolution. We had a couple of first-person shooters, and then Red Faction Guerrilla went outdoors, and we saw these huge, expansive vistas, and then we've gone back indoors, and you were saying earlier about 80% of the games can take place underground, but there'll still be some outdoor combat as well. Tell us a little bit about why you've gone back indoors, and how the outdoor areas, there was some criticism that there was a lot to see, but not a lot to do in some of those wide-open areas. How have you corrected that?
Well, there's been a number of changes. We want to feel that every time it's kind of evolving a little bit. We had destruction, like I said, now we're integrating into gameplay. Before, it was like it was open world. You had all these fantastic possibilities. Well, we've kept the possibilities, we've kept those, we've shortened the distances where you're driving around, we've made it more linear so we can tell a better story. And not only that, we're going to keep the action going. There's not going to be any long stretches where things aren't going on. You're constantly going to be moving forward, exploring the story, uncovering the mystery, and fighting, at every opportunity. We want to give you as much environmental diversity as possible. We think that's another advantage, in terms of the evolution. You're going to be able to fight on the surface of Mars. You're going to be fighting underground Mars. We're fighting in, magma areas, in ice caves, and a lot of different places. So we're going to try and give you as much opportunity to see different parts of Mars, to fight aliens, to fight humans, to fight by yourself, to fight alongside other humans. Lots of new possibilities.
Now, probably the biggest thing that people remember Guerrilla for was the destructibility in Geomod. You've gone backwards slightly with the ability to restore buildings as well. Tell us a little about the pacing and the challenge of being able to rebuild your surroundings, for example, building cover, but still keeping the pace up and not stopping people between spots and making them rebuild, for example.
Well, we think that rebuilding is actually going to increase the pace. Because with the magnet gun, being able to grab a chunk of a building and throw it at somebody, you can rebuild that and basically create unlimited ammo for yourself. With a power like impact built into the nanoforge that basically blows holes in a wall. And you can rebuild them. So check out where the enemies are, rebuild it, wait till your health comes back up, blow another hole, attack again, rebuild. You can use it strategically. So this is going to create a lot of opportunities in terms of that. But what rebuilding does, what being able to repair the environment around you, you never have to worry. Oh, I shouldn't destroy that. Oh, I'm going to need that staircase. Oh, you never have to have second thoughts because you can rebuild. So it's always giving you this other alternative, and we want you to destroy as much as humanly possible and never have a second thought.
Now, you announced Red Faction Battlegrounds, which is the downloadable title. We've already heard that the title will play into the retail release of Red Faction Armageddon. Tell us a little bit about the unlockables that will feature in the game and what players will be able to get by playing Battlegrounds.
Well, there will definitely be unlocks between the two games. We're keeping some of those a secret for right now, but as an XBLA title, it's a heck of a lot of fun. It features in the Red Faction universe has some carryover. If you're familiar with Red Faction, you're going to recognize some of the vehicles. They're the exact same models from Armageddon, from Guerrilla. You're going to see those carried over. So it's a fantastic destruction-based game, you know, that friends can play together. Big focus on multiplayer, just you and your friends getting together and ripping stuff up.
Now, you mentioned story previously, and it was one of the bugbears for a lot of players and reviewers that, you know, it was a really pretty game. There was a lot of destruction that was really well done, but the story was a little bit of a weak element in the chink of the Red Faction armor. How are you correcting that in Armageddon?
Well, in Armageddon, by making it more of a linear game, still giving you sandbox play, but making it more linear, we're going to tighten that up. We're going to move the player throughout this great story and kind of reveal, you know, you're going to have your love interest, you're going to have a really powerful antagonist. Like I said, you're going to be fighting alongside the Red Faction, you're going to be fighting humans, fighting different types of aliens. We're going to have this whole kind of wide world that we're going to paint for you, and there won't be stretches where things aren't happening. It'll constantly be a narrative progression and give you a big, you know, big ending that everybody's going to really enjoy.
Last question for you, Eric. What were the lessons learned through Red Faction Guerrilla? What were the takeaway messages that the game had shipped and you realized that there was something that could have been done a little bit better that you've then tweaked up for Armageddon?
A number of things. Like I said, continuing back up the story, but more importantly, just taking the technology. We wanted to know, how can we take that incredible destruction technology and take it to the next level? We didn't want it to be something that was happening in the background or something kind of fun. We wanted to make sure that it was tightly woven with a linear, you know, more linear story. We wanted to make sure that it was really tightened into how the player plays, tightened into combat, so that you're constantly thinking about destruction. You're seeing the world around you, its possibilities strategically in terms of repair, destruction, ripping it apart, bringing it down. You're really in control. The world becomes your weapon. We wanted people to really think differently about how they play the game and have that be an active focus.
So when's the game going to be out? Can you give us an indication of date and platforms?
May 17th. It's going to be Xbox 360, PS3, and PC.
Eric, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.